Good. All right. Good evening, everyone. Today is Monday, April 24th. The time is now 6:08 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brusher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle. Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil. Councilmember Pointer.
Present.
Councilmembership Freeman.
Present.
Madam Clerk, adequate notice, please.
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by an annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger Sentinel, and Desi Talk on December 1st, 2022, and posted main lobby of Municipal Complex on that same date.
Just one adjustment on the agenda for the Open Space Committee. There would be adding on the reappointment of Frank Greco. Item 4, review of minutes. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, what I think most of the people are here for today, resolution of recognition. Madam Clerk, can you please read the resolutions?
Whereas on February 25th, 2023, Edison High School varsity cheerleading team proudly finished the NJCDC State Championship, where they achieved first place in intermediate high score, and on February 26th, the team placed third place game day. Whereas the cheer team began their season in mid-August by practicing game day prep, conditioning, stunting, tumbling, and competition skills Monday through Friday for 2 hours each day. The varsity cheerleaders also attend a 4-day sleepover camp with the National Cheerleaders Association in Pennsylvania. Whereas the team earned a bid to compete at the NCAA High School Nationals in Dallas, Texas. This team not only practices a routine each day, but they also cheer at every home boys and girls basketball games throughout the winter season. This extremely talented, dedicated group started their season by winning the GMC Conference White Division, which was first place for Edison High, and ended their season by doing absolutely amazing at the NJCDCA State competitions, placing first in the medium all-girls intermediate division, having the highest score of their entire season. Whereas recognized is given to Coach Nicole and Coach Sarah, along with the Spirit and Energy varsity cheerleading team consisting of 15 students. Whereas to be considered a sport, an activity must involve physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against others for entertainment. Cheerleading involves throwing, catching, spinning, flipping, which all involve physical exertion. On July 20th, 2021, the International Olympic Committee voted in favor of granting full recognition of the International Cheer Union and cheerleading. And now therefore be it resolved as the Municipal Council of the Township of Edison that it is fitting and proper to recognize and commend the coaches and all the named students of the Edison High School varsity cheerleading team for superb demonstration of excellence in addition to their countless hours of hard work and dedication to the sport.
Thank you. Should I do both teams at the same time? Yeah. If it's okay, we're going to do both resolutions at the same time. So, Madam Clerk, if you don't mind reading the JV resolution as well.
Whereas Edison High School varsity team proudly finished in their 2023 undefeated and 2023 JV Large New Jersey State Championship. The JV cheer team practiced every day, Monday through Friday, for approximately 3 hours. The J team also had Saturday practice whenever they felt the routine was not perfect. Whereas the JV team has very impressive 2023 record starting in January with first place victory at Woodbridge High School competition. The first place in January impact competition. Month 2 of the year was an amazing continuous of the month. 1 with first place impact competition, first place at JFK, first place SJV, and another first place at the Howell High School, and ending the season first place JV Large at the NJCDCA State Championship. Whereas is recognized Coach Celine, along with the Spirit and Energy JV cheerleading consisting of 22 students. And then whereas to be considered a sport and activity must involve physical exertion and skill in which an individual team competes against others for entertainment. Cheerleading involves throwing, catching, spinning, flipping, and all involves physical exertion. Whereas on July 20th, 2021, the International Olympic Team voted to favor of granting full recognition of the International Cheer Union and cheerleading. And now, there be it resolved, the Township Council of Edison find it fitting and proper to recognize and commend the coach and all the students of Edison High School JV team for the superb and demonstration of excellence in addition to their countless hours of hard work and dedication to the sport.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. At this time, I'd like to open up to the public if anyone would like to make any comments in regards to the recognition. Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. At this time, any council comments?
Council President?
Yes, Council Vice President.
Yes, I would like to congratulate both the JV cheerleading team and the varsity cheerleading team for great accomplishments. You've done yourselves proud, you've done your families proud, you've done Edison High School proud, and you've done the entire town proud. And we thank you so much for your contribution. Go Eagles!
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilwoman Ship Freeman.
Yeah, I'd like to recognize you guys for all your hard work, all the hours you put in. I would like to thank your parents for driving you all over the place because I know how hard it is. I was a cheerleading coach before, and it's a whole lot of work that you guys put on. And I'm just so proud of you because, you know, I always love to say, because that's where I'm from, is Edison. And so when I can brag about anything from Edison, I try my best to do it. Thank you guys so much for scoring #1 for all of us. Thank you.
Ship Freeman. Councilman
I just
Patel.
want to congratulate you, all of you, and I truly think it's a sport when you guys flipping up in the air. It scares me. I would never do that. So I'm glad you guys are doing it, and I'm glad you guys are practicing, and congratulations on all your success, and you're making Edison proud.
Councilman Brescher.
So I'd like to congratulate everybody here, including your parents, because I know what they go through. That was always harder for me as a parent, bringing my child all around them when I was younger and I was playing. To me, that was enjoyable. What I did find remarkable, though, was in this proclamation here, I think you used the word throwing, but normal sports are talking about throwing a ball. I think in this sport, we're talking about throwing people. So it's a little bit different than other sports. But yes, congratulations to all of you. I know putting in that kind of hard work and the season going longer than it normally does, you know, takes a toll on each and every one of you and your families and your parents. But you did it to achieve this success for Edison. So thank you. I hope you continue it next year. We get round 2.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. And for myself, I'm just going to reciprocate what was already said. It's an amazing achievement to be pretty much the best at what you do. The time and dedication that you put forth to your craft is commendable, especially when you're talking about not only the time that you put aside for the sport, which I want to emphasize sport, because I know if you went back 2 decades ago, people would argue maybe cheerleading is not a sport. No, it's a sport. So when you combine that along with the educational requirements that students have, it's absolutely commendable what you do. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for all of your hard work, the pride that you bring to the township. Thank you to the parents for your dedication with your children. And as Councilman Brescher said next year, or said, I'm looking forward to next year as well. Thank you. With that, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman,
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. At this time, I'm going to ask for both the varsity and JV squads to please come up, and I will present you guys with the resolution. Check, check. All right. Do we have the coaches as well by chance?
Thank you.
I won't go through rereading the resolutions because it's a little lengthy, but again, thank you for all of your hard work and for making Edison proud. It's truly commendable. Would you like to make the statement?
We just want to say thank you very much for having us here tonight. We're very proud of these girls. They worked so hard the entire season, and it's very nice to be recognized by you, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And if it's all right, I guess, unless someone already took a photo? Can I take a photo? Yeah, by all means. Any of the other council members want to come up, or? Once again, congratulations and thank you for everything that you've done. At this time, we're going to move on to reports from all council committees. I'll start with, to my right, Councilman Brusher.
We had a meeting the other day for the public advocate. We are moving forward, but through our discussions, we ended up coming up with maybe a better alternative, I guess I should put it. It's still a public advocate, but it's just a different way of going about doing it. So it's going to take us a couple more meetings. It might be a little bit more time consuming on the committee, but I think this is the right direction that we're headed. But we'd like to get the full input from the entire committee before we move forward with that. So it'll come up at our next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Council Vice President Harris.
Yes. The Cultural Arts Commission met on April 11th at 6 p.m. And items discussed, and Ray Pori, I'm going to need your help on making sure that I got this right. I believe we were told the Ferrante House should be ready for a garden party in the fall at the latest. Is that right? Can you tell us how are things going in terms of the rehab there?
They're going very well.
Good.
We should be ready by the fall.
Okay,
we
great.
have a host of projects that are slated. We're moving along with that list, and we should be ready by the fall.
Fabulous. That's great. The gallery, which is being rehabbed downstairs, as soon as you enter the building, the gallery that used to be the snack shack is being, I think that's about 6 months away from being ready to display arts and artifacts.
The mayor was looking for a much more aggressive agenda.
Okay.
I'm hoping to have that completed within the next month.
Awesome. That's really great. Okay. We were talking about designating various months of the year to recognize cultural holidays, various cultural recognitions. We are also looking to put in possibly a stained glass where, in the part that faces the front of the building, to have a commission for a stained glass. One of our members has drawn up a couple of designs, and they're really lovely. She would not do the art for that. We would have somebody else do that. Obviously, we need a budget in place to be able to do this. I think this was another thing, that the exterior, is this correct too, Ray? The exterior of the Ferrante house will be gray, is that correct?
The house will be gray with black shutters and a red driveway in front of it, red crushed stone.
Great, okay. When we start doing events over at the Ferrante House, we are looking to do some fundraisers and, hopefully to help to fund some of the other things on the committee on the commission that we are wanting to accomplish. We are also in the process of designing a logo for the Cultural Arts Commission, and so that's in progress. We are establishing email addresses for the Cultural Arts Commission. We're doing that through the township, and I've been in touch with Bob Deal about doing so, and it looks like we can get that set up. Also looking to possibly do a website, and we will be also setting up a social media site perhaps on Instagram and on Facebook. And that concluded that meeting, and we're meeting again on May 2nd. Thank you very much, Council President.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilman Patel?
Okay, first an announcement. The 2023 Edison Metuchen Mayor's 24-mile bicycle tour will be held on May 21st, 2023.
I don't mean to interrupt. This is for committee reports.
Yes, for open space.
Oh, my apologies.
So this is held by Open Space Committee, and we just want to advertise that, make sure that its check-in is at 8 a.m. It will start at 9, and it'll end at approximately 2 p.m. Everyone can sign up at register.capturepoint.com, and the first 150 riders will get official 2023 Bike Tour t-shirt. So sign up now, as soon as possible. For the committee as well, there was a question of park addresses. This was brought up a while back to Sonia, where when we try to use GPS to find location to a specific location in the park, we don't have addresses, and we are hoping to address that. And I brought up this issue maybe last year, but I don't know what happened to it. Can we look into it so that we can, in case of an emergency at the park, and if someone needs to call it in that I'm at this location, we need to be able to say, hey, this is the exact address so that you can meet me. Okay. All right, and then moving on to the Finance Committee, we had our first Finance Committee meeting. Based on the reports, our 2022 budget performed according to plan. There were two areas of concern. One was health, and the second was water. For health, this was a legacy issue that we're dealing with. For years, we have not fully funded it, and it's a rolling snowball effect that keeps increasing. And not to say we're not doing anything about it. We have performed census audits that saved us over $1 million, and we're doing various other things to save money. But unfortunately, it is due to just the low, it is hard to tackle this problem due to how it's being linked to the benefits of unions, and the procedures that were on low during COVID have increased, and the inflation has increased health costs. So this is going to be something that we have to be mindful of. And for water, there were unexpected water main breaks that increased the township cost, and we can't really predict any issues that will come up in the future. So that's another area that we have to be very mindful of. But beside that, the 2022 budget performed according to plan, and for 2023, they're still working the final numbers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Patel. Councilwoman Ship Freeman?
Yes, we had our final open master plan meeting, and they're still tweaking it to the finest that they could tweak it to, but most people were very satisfied in the direction in which we're going in at this particular time. Now we had a veterans committee with the Catholic Charities. they want to have a family military day on August 5th during the course of the day. And you can email me or text me because they're looking for a lot of donations because it's for the families of the military people so that the children and the mothers and all of them get to enjoy a day at August 5th. Also, for our jazz committee, I'm still waiting on our mayor to, I sent information to Bob Dill and them to send just $1,000 to the Metuchen Jazz Metuchen Jazz product, back and forth, and going along with Council Vice President Margot Harris, the cultural actual committee, because it's formed to go out and look for grants, so that I won't be the sole person looking for grants to move our arts along. So that's the main problem. Most people do in each community, the cultural committee looks out for their grants because they have plenty of grants to move us right along and move us to the future. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ship Freeman. For myself, just as a general FYI, the Historic Preservation Commission is looking to meet in May. If anyone is interested in being a part of the Historic Commission, please send an application to the clerk's office. The Smart City Advisory Committee met last Thursday. We reviewed feedback received by departments on a survey that we provided in regards to technology that the departments currently use, as well as an analysis of what neighboring municipalities and entities such as Rutgers are currently doing. We're aiming to have the presentation to the council for July. The Deer Population Ad Hoc Committee, we're still figuring out a day to meet. So once that's solidified, I will surely advise. The Billboard Ad Hoc Committee had met on Friday, the 30th, I believe. We discussed items such as location, bulk criteria, types of lighting, setbacks, whether the adjustments should be to the entire sign ordinance versus just billboards, and several other items. We did have a follow-up meeting, myself and Councilman Patel, with Hank Bunnell to overview some of those items, and we are taking the notes from both of those meetings, combining them, and moving forward. There was also an Education Committee meeting last week. Unfortunately, Councilman Patel is unable to be with us today, so I don't have a full report on that. And just as a general question to Councilman Brescher, if we can set up another meeting for the Amazon Ad Hoc Committee. And that's all I have on my end. Thank you. Any other committee items? Hearing none. 7, points of light. Does anyone have any points of light they would like to mention?
They're gonna talk about the flag raising on Wednesday? Or you're gonna talk about it? Okay.
Yeah, so for myself, in regards to upcoming meetings, April 25th, Zoning Board, April 27th, Library Board, May 3rd, Board of Education Budget Hearing, May 4th, Open Space, May 8th, Town Council Work Session Meeting, May 9th, Library Board, May 10th, Town Council Regular Meeting, May 15th, Planning Board, May 18th, Board of Education Caucus Meeting, as well as May 18th, Environmental Commission, May 22nd, Town Council Work Session Meeting, and the 24th of May, Town Council Regular Meeting. In regards to upcoming events, as Councilwoman Freeman was just saying, on Wednesday, April 26th, will be the Israeli Independence Day flag raising ceremony, 2:45 p.m. here at the Municipal Complex. As Councilman Patel had just mentioned, on May 21st is the Edison Metuchen Mayor's Bike Tour, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., starting here at the Municipal Complex. On Saturday, May 27th, is the Memorial Day Parade, starting at 10 a.m. Along Plainfield Avenue. And June 17th is the Juneteenth celebration, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Lake Papiani. In addition, my apologies. In addition, on June 4th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Middlesex College, there is a paper shredding event. Thank you. Any other points of light?
Thought there was something on the 29th.
Hearing none. Moving on to the agenda. 8, from the Business Administrator. A, resolution increasing permissible expenditures for contracts awarded to Raynone Coughlin Mancello for municipal attorney for year 2022. In January, February of 2023, $146,792. B, resolution increases permissible expenditures for contracts awarded to Sage Architect for consulting architectural services for 2022 and January and February 2023, $51,029. C, contract purchase order for facilities, maintenance, repair, and operations and industrial supplies not to exceed $275,000. D, contract purchase order for road department materials not to exceed $618,800. E, resolution approving memorandum of agreement and successor collective bargaining agreement with AFSCME Local 3269. F, resolution awarding contract purchase order for various vendors for custodial supplies and equipment not to exceed $195,250. G, contract purchase order for various software license renewals, $49,492. H, contract for professional services to Vision Media Marketing for public relations and communications, $40,000. I, contract purchase orders for various OEM for light-duty vehicles, parts, and accessories not to exceed $315,000. J, resolution provides advice and consent for mayoral appointment of Asma Warsi as judge of the municipal court. And K, resolution rejecting all bids for Edison Township Sports Building. Any questions or comments?
Council President?
Yes.
Okay, well, okay, all right. Starting, I have 2, A and H. Let me start with A. It's a big increase, and I wondered if our attorney could shed any light on what accounted, just in general, what kinds of things accounted for the increase.
Well, certainly. Thank you, Councilman. Well, frankly, I wouldn't characterize it, I know you characterize it as a big increase. I wouldn't. We respond every day to all the requests that come from the administration. So we are advising all of the departments on a daily basis. We provide advice to and support to the business administrator. I think she's going to jump in at any point. We also are engaged in, as Labor Council, providing advice on employment matters, negotiating with various bargaining units, and litigation if necessary. So there's the legal needs of the Township of Edison are vast. This is a large municipality, requires a lot of resources to be dedicated to the firm. And frankly, we respond to the requests that come to us from the administration. So these bills reflect, in actuality, the work that it takes to support Edison as your legal counsel.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, Council President?
Yes, Sonia.
I think we've also perhaps underestimated some of what we were working on, and this reflects the change to make sure that we correct it moving forward. With that said, all of our collective bargaining agreements did expire last year, and we've been working heavily with the firm to do that. Their help has been tremendous in providing that resource to us. So I'm in constant communication with the law firm to ensure that, one, the township, our employees, and yourselves are also protected in all aspects. So they are doing the work, I would say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh,
I understand
no,
one
go
more.
ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
H, the Vision Media increase to, or the 40,000 for the adding 40,000 for 2022, which makes it a total of a little bit over 95,000. And I'm wondering, could you explain a little bit more about what that covers? Is this including the illuminator? What's involved with this?
It does include the illuminator and the actual mailing of the illuminator, among other marketing, or rather, marketing may not be the correct word, I apologize. Other ways in which we communicate to the public. So there's a huge portion of that Vision Media provides a support to the township.
What we voted on, I don't remember if it was, I think, 2 sets of council meetings ago. What did we vote on at that time? It was a vote to approve.
Sure, it was
Correct?
just to extend, much like any of the professional contracts, it was just nearly to extend up to a certain point because we wanted to make sure that the contract was amenable to both parties, and that the language was acceptable moving forward to ensure that whatever it is we're signing up for, be it the illuminator, whatever other resources we're using them for, it was what we wanted to accomplish. So that was just a temporary holdover, and this is for the entire completion of the contract.
The reason why this particular resolution and the one from a couple of meetings ago, the reason why those weren't put together is what? I mean, just if we had had this information in, this is for 2022, I understand. The one from two sets of meetings ago was for 2023, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I'm sorry, just as a point of clarification, this should just be for the extension for 2023. Nothing.
Just
to do-
2023, right.
Yeah,
We're-
so
We're
this
not
has
talking
nothing
about
to do.
2022.
Yeah, so just for clarification, this does not reference anything in regards to 2022. The initial temporary appropriation was for a 2-month period. Each month is at $5,000, so that was at the beginning of the year. The last update that the Council Vice President was mentioning, that was a 2-month extension. This would be the extension for the remainder of the year, so from May throughout December. Just wanted to make sure that was clear. Councilwoman Ship Freeman?
Okay, all right. I'll start from the bottom up. I'll start from the Vision Media Marketing. As I stated last time, that it was more of a campaign-like, a self-serving paper, and I brought in this to show our council president that within this, within the couple of pages, they have like council pages in it of the stuff that you work on, so that it seems like, no man is an island, like we're all working together. I just want that, the message out, we're all working together, because if I keep pouring money into it every week and I'm just pouring money toward one person, I want money to be poured toward the whole council representing and the stuff that's, totally done and that's shared. When I'm talking about the collective bargaining, and I spoke to different people about collective bargaining, and it still saddens me that women don't have enough money, even though they're working hard, to be able to afford an apartment. So you can give me 3, 3, and 3, but if I'm only making the minimum amount of money, 3, 3, and 3 doesn't mean anything, because that means that I can't survive with the amount of money we have. And I just think that we should do more, because I talked to a couple of people and they said that a guy came in another time, and a lady was working here like 20 years and still couldn't afford an apartment. There's something wrong with that. We have to do better as Americans. We have to do better. You know what I mean? Because how much affordable housing do we have? You shouldn't have to go out to work every day as a female and then have to live in affordable housing, because of your pay and stuff. You shouldn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs at all, I don't have, I'll go along with the collective bargaining because I don't want anybody to miss anything, but I want people to think about those in terms. So if you bring us all up to this step right here that we can live, then 3, 3, and 3 will always be good. The next one is the could you explain a little more to me about the resolution increasing the permissible expenditures from the professional services contracts awarded to Sage Art Consulting? Because it doesn't give me much of a thing about them. Like, what are they doing for us to pay them for in South Plainfield?
I'm sorry, you mean here in Edison?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. The services that they've been providing are, obviously, we went through the RFQ process, so they are one of our professionals that we passed early on. They've been working on the sports building, the Toth Center, some of the miscellaneous things like Winter Wonderland, and so those are all itemized in their bills. Is there anything in particular?
Well, my whole problem is even with A, I need to see some of these itemized. I need to see some of this itemized stuff because me, along with other seniors, see a lot of really good things going on. But we want to be able that we can still live here and afford the taxes to enjoy the stuff that's coming along new back and forth. We have no problem with it. We just wanted to make sure. So therefore, like I've asked before, I think May is like next week. Yep. All right? May is like next week, and I need to see some of this information. So when people ask me questions, I need to say, this is being spent toward this, being spent toward this. I don't need to see like a whole bunch of different architects, reaching in. I understand you have lawyers back and forth, and believe me, I know all the things about collective bargaining because I was a union president, so I know all those things back and forth, what happens whenever, but I don't know that every time we come, we're like going to the well, like all this money, we're spending a lot of money, because we're spending so much, it's starting to make me nervous about the money we're spending, because other people are calling me and they're getting a little bit upset now because they want to know, like, we can't overdo with the professional services. All right, we have to try to rein in some of our stuff and focus it in, because I see like the DPW themselves, they're doing a lot of work around here at all, because I look in every corner because they know they'll see me like 3 times a week or whatever, and I'll see them working and doing things back and forth. But then I see a whole lot of other stuff on here that doesn't relate to the work that they're doing. So I need I need to know what our budget is, what direction we're going in, and if we will have a tax increase for the following year. This is some things I need to know before you can vote straight on them, because I don't want to put people in peril. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry?
Council President, also as a resource of funding, we have been allocated grant funds and funds coming from the state. So part of these large projects, we are getting some sort of funding. So it's not totally up to the township. One of the other things that we really need to consider is that the fact that inflation and the cost of materials, time, and that includes our professionals, have increased over the last couple years, if you will. That being said, as you'll see in this agenda, we're rejecting a bid and going out to bid, and much like we did for the turf fields. And that takes time from our professionals to review. Just in one of the bids, we issued 4 addendums. So all of those things do come into play, and people are doing the work. And I think it's this administration especially has been at work harding to make sure that we are putting shovels to the ground, just like the turf fields outside. So we are counting on these professionals to provide that service, and we'd be glad to provide any itemization that you're looking for.
And also, they all have to be maintained after we have it. So it's not that we get all these projects and they don't have to be maintained. We still have to have them maintained at the same time. I'll be glad to get all the rest of the information, and I know, and I see good things are being done. I have no problem with good things being done, but I got to look at the maintenance cost. I have to look at the different costs so that you don't put too much of a burden on the actual taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Freeman. Councilman Patel.
Councilman Freeman, I understand that you're worried about the cost, but speaking from the past year's budget, we had one of the lowest tax increases ever from the municipality. And I believe we have a good budget set for the future, and I don't think we are not we are mindful of the cost that the township bears.
Excuse me, sir, but maintenance, you have to maintain stuff after you get it. If we don't maintain it, then we're gonna fall in disarray, and then that's gonna cost us that much more. So I know you're young, and I'm speaking for a different group of people that are, on their edges with their taxes and moving right along, but
Thank you for
I
call-
applaud you.
Thank you for calling
Yes.
me young, but I do want to say that we do have some maintenance purchases here. So we are looking into maintenance, and we are mindful of that cost as well. Just being mindful of everything, because this is a big budget, so we have to be mindful of everything.
So, sir, if you can give me the direction in which we're going right now, from you in charge of the budget, can you get some of this stuff to me?
What would you like?
I want the information on the items I spoke on tonight.
I'm pretty sure
Thank
they
you.
can get that to you, right? Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes.
Councilman Brescher.
I'd just like to comment to my colleague, Mr. Patel. Just to let you know, I do understand there, when you said we did 1% or whatever it was, right? That's a feat under normal conditions, but my feeling personally is with all the COVID money we got, it's really not a feat. You know what I mean? So pulling that type of percentage, I'll hold you accountable the following year when we don't get the COVID money anymore. I hope you do just as well a job without it. But moving along, we have this is our attorney. I would like someone to look into, I believe we have an ordinance that spells out the duties that our attorney is supposed to do. And the reason why I do this was I asked for all the legal bills because we have an ordinance that dictates what our attorney is supposed to perform for that dollar amount. Okay? I could not discern whether that was true or not by the documents that I was given because of the redacted 30%. So it might have been hidden in there somewhere, I guess. But being that I get redacted bills that I can't see, so therefore I don't know what they're working on, I don't necessarily agree with an increase to the attorney or agree with approving his bills moving forward. But moving on to B, Sage Architects. Or do they do the architectural drawings or are they doing the renderings?
They're doing the drawings
The renderings or the drawings? The construction drawings?
and the
So-
renderings, right?
Well, okay, so when I go to the construction site, I'm going to see a construction set of drawings, and their name is going to be on the construction set, not the engineer is doing the construction set of drawings, or are they just doing the renderings?
They're doing the renderings.
Oh, okay, so it's just the renderings that we're doing for that. And just to let the administration know, I've been waiting over a year for Polanski Park that I was told by my freeholders that we were going to do. It was committed by the previous administration. I was told that the parking lot was paved by certain people, and I told them that it wasn't, that I've never seen someone that was able to pave potholes. So I know it wasn't paved. But I'd like to get a date as to when that's going to start, because I'd like to get the projects moving before we go with drawing nice pictures and sending out campaign flyers or promotional things, which is that vision right in there. But I'll go back to the ASME. And I did hear the BA talk about inflation when we talk about cost. And everybody in this room and everybody that's listening knows about inflation, right? Except I noticed that our people in ASME are getting it's a 3% raise. Yet the increases we're giving our vendors, right, is well more than 3%. So we treat our employees worse than we treat our vendors, and I think that's a bad road to go down. And I did make a statement months ago saying that I would not approve a union contract unless it's equal to or better than what the police department received. So I asked for a scattergram, and the reason why is at the end of the scattergram, it would tell me the total percentage. Because when I read through the contract, I do see it's 3%, but there's steps and longevity. There's a little bit extra money here and there, and that does add up. So, without having that, I don't know that this contract is equal to. I do know that our employees are not receiving the same increases as inflation as our vendors receive. So I do have an issue with that one there. But that would be a council president. Thank you.
Any other? Thank you. I'm just going to address a couple of these items. In regards for the attorney fees, if you look historically, we've been at about $325,000 on an annual basis, not to exceed, right? So that was 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. And I'm using an approximate, it might have been 320, 315 in the previous years. So that's on a regular year. November of last year, we approved for additional funds to McManaman, Scotland, and Bowman for approximately $225,000 for services rendered 2018, 19, 21, approximately. I can gather that some of those funds may have been because of contract negotiations that were going on when the Suez deal was being provided. Last year, our attorney in the firm are dealing with contract negotiations with police, fire, ASME. We had the zoning board appeal, which required attorney fees. There's negotiation with purchases, the Silver Lake and Talmadge property, which I know Talmadge is not finalized, but still, there is work behind the scenes to get to the points that where we're at. Additionally, if you look at the budget for the council line items that was passed last year, the council was authorized $60,000 in legal, as a line item for legal consulting. I'll only speak for myself here, but I know that I've reached out to the attorney in regards to the bid thresholds, which was put on for ordinance last year, the abandoned house properties ordinance, which was put on the agenda earlier this year, the graffiti ordinance, which I had distributed about 2 meetings ago, which I'm going to request follow-up and comment on, because I'm hoping to put that up shortly. I know Councilman Patel and myself have inquired in regards to Complete Street. I've spoken to the attorneys in regards to the warehouse and billboard ordinances, and as well as requesting for a review of the tree ordinance. So what I'm trying to say is that because of these types of requests, there's additional work that's being done that maybe on a normal year would not be incurred. In regards to some of the financing items, if you look at facilities maintenance, repairs, and operations, currently that is a not to exceed of $275,000. Before it was $225,000. Last time that contract was put up was 2020. Contract D, road departments. This not to exceed is $618,800. Previous was 2020, $580,000. Not a substantial increase. I bring these up because in 2020, Councilwoman Shep Freeman was the council president, and these are relatively in line with what they were previously. And if you account for inflation, you would get the difference there. In regards to the memorandum of agreement with AFSCME, I appreciate a couple of things. One, the annual increase in salaries is being increased from 2.5% to 3%. That small amount, when you compound it year after year, makes a substantial difference. Additionally, one of the items in there is that the minimum starting salary is going to be $35,000. That means that automatically, even if you have $15 minimum wage, that the new employees are going to be starting at about $4,000 more on an annual basis. Additionally, just as another item that I thought was very nice to include, especially for women, is that the maternity leave will now include adoption of children and fostering. So these are additional items in regards to the contract that were not there previously that I find are very beneficial to the employees. Just something for future, maybe we can look into paternity leave as well. In regards to, I also just want to make a note in regards to the judgeship appointment. Asma Warsi is figured to fill in a vacancy of, we have a vacancy in regards to the, to our judges. And in addition, it's also been recommended that we actually need an alternate because of the backlog that we have. I just wanted to give some of her credentials. She's served local areas representing individuals in immigration and family courts in both the state and municipal court. She has degrees from both Rutgers University and NYU. She's ran her own successful practice and has experience in high-level courts, including as an assistant director attorney for the Appeals Bureau for the Bronx County in New York. And I look forward to her hopefully having the support of this council. And once again, the administration putting a woman in a position of influence. That's it for me. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. 9, from the Department of Finance. A, report of disbursements through April. B, tax sales certificate redemption, $2,976,069. C, tax overpayment refunds, $2,373. And D, water overpayment refunds, $371. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. 10, from the Department of Planning and Engineering. A, engineering inspection fee refunds, and B, tree maintenance bond refund. Any questions or comments? Councilman Brescher?
Council President, on this whole tree thing, if the administration comes to us at another meeting and on there it's listed that it's over the 2-year period, I would like to see this taken away from who's ever doing it and have somebody else handle this. Because we asked at the meetings, right, for it to be updated, we asked for them to bring everything to this dais that was old, right, instead of just waiting 4 years and then sending it to us and telling us, oh, the tree's dead, and there's nothing we can do about it. So then we were told at the last meeting that we were up to date, and there's more trees that are old here. So I'd like to just say I just don't want to see another one of these where they're older, that's all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question to the attorney? Sure. In regards to these escrow fees, is there a point where the monies cannot be refunded back to the owner or whomever had put the?
No, there's no specific time frame.
Are there any costs that the township incurs because of actually handling the funds or anything like that?
None that I'm aware of, no. No.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. 11, from the Department of Public Works. A, resolution releasing street opening escrows. B, professional services contract to CME Associates for engineering services for HVAC infrastructure upgrades, $251,750. C, contract for hydraulic system supply and repair, not to exceed $75,000. D, contract for sweeper parts, not to exceed $110,000. E, contract for heavy-duty truck parts, not to exceed $605,000. I should also mention that's 5 vendors, between 5 vendors. F, contract purchase order for electrical equipment and supplies, not to exceed $150,000. G, contract with Hogan Security Group for door replacements at 4 firehouses, community center, and DPW building, $321,591. H, contract with Weatherproofing Technologies for roof replacement and repair at 4 firehouses and DPW sanitation building, $738,739. I, contract purchase order for equipment, parts, and the repair of various grounds equipment, not to exceed $140,000. J, contract for bucket truck chassis, 2 of them, $251,253. K, contract purchase order for 2 new bucket truck bodies, with options, $233,686. L, contract purchase order to Cliffside Body Corp for 3 new hook truck bodies with options, $626,392. And M, contract for hook truck chassis, 3 of them, $429,192. Any questions or comments?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brusher.
Yes, the releasing of the street opening. I did go by and take a look at quite a few of them, and they did, around the perimeter, like our ordinance says. But I'd just like to see our roads, that all the ones that are getting half paved, that they should be of the same. I don't know who looks into this. I think we changed this. This is a DPW thing now. No, this is an engineering thing.
It's an engineering thing because you're referring to the PSC&G work, correct?
Yeah, it's street paving, yes.
Right.
I don't discern whether it's PSC&G or us or, to this body, it doesn't matter how the administration breaks it up. But, yeah, if they could take a look at, to make sure that we're doing it the same way that we're doing our patching, because the road patching, I guess that's DPW, right? That's being done correctly. But the half street paving doesn't look like it's being done correctly. So maybe they can get together with DPW and they can explain to the engineers what needs to be done, if that's possible. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments? For myself, I know that at first glance, there's a lot of sticker shock in regards to these costs. I find that these are investments that the township should make in regards to making sure that we provide the services expected that the residents expect.
Council President?
Yes, Councilwoman Schiff Freeman.
Yes, I spoke with the DPW department myself because I heard it was a great, enormous amount of money, so that I wanted to know, did we really, really need most of this stuff? When I spoke to all of them, they assured me that this stuff is needed to maintain this town and keep our buildings and everything so we can be safe. Then after we spend this, I told them don't come back to the well again, make sure they do well with all the stuff we're giving them now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Schiff Freeman. Just for the public's reference, a couple of the items that, specifically one item that I know Councilman Coyle, if he were here, he would be praising would be the hook truck, the hook trucks. These are extremely versatile vehicles that are going to provide the department, I think, a lot of flexibility. Also, in regards to the options that are being provided, some of those items include brine tanks, plows, additional salt spreaders, chipper body, roll-off dumpsters, and flatbed bodies. I think that these are going to serve the department extremely well. It will increase efficiencies within the department and long-term will have many benefits. Thank you. Moving on, 12, from the Department of Water and Sewer. A, contract purchase order to T&M Associates for engineering services related to the West Side Sanitary Pumping Station rehabilitation, $974,200. Any questions or comments?
Yes, question.
Yes, Councilman Brusher.
What's the projected cost for this pump station?
Council President, if they may?
Yes,
come
by
up
all
to the
means.
podium.
Projected construction cost is around $5 million. That's a preliminary estimate based on, prior to doing any design work.
Okay, and that's shown here then somewhere 20%. Correct.
For engineering and inspection, correct.
Okay. I mean, we know how I feel about that. So
Yeah.
I don't need to get into detail, but yes. So that was my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Sonia?
Council President, I just wanted to make mention, this is part of the ACO agreement, as being one of the pump stations, one of the largest pump stations. And we are currently in discussions with DEP to continue to be able to get this work done. So that's what T&M has been tasked to do, and just wanted to mention that. That is part of the ACO.
Yes, and for the published reference, the ACO Administrative Consent Order, this was passed on December 28th of last year, and essentially, it's an agreement with the township and the state that requires certain pump station repairs. For this one specifically, the timeline for the township to actually submit for permits for it is 24 months, and the completion of the rehabilitation must be done within 36 months. That's between the contract with the ACO. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. 13 from the Chief of Fire. A, approval of volunteer firefighters. Questions or comments? Hearing none. 14 from the Chief of Police. Resolution A, resolution authorizes use of competitive contracting for the management of crossing functions.
Yes, Council President?
Yes, Council Vice President Harris.
Yes, to the business administrator through Council President. Could you just draw this out a little bit more in terms of what this means? There's a change to this, and so can you, and this is more for the public's benefit. Could you explain that?
Sure, and I also have police present here, so if they will, but I will start. So what this does is, essentially, it is, we would be going out to bid and privatizing this service for crossing guards. The reason being that there were significant issues with staffing and finding folks to cover the crosswalks, if you will. That being said, also, then you're having police officers cover that, and that is an exorbitant amount of money that the township would be spending to have officers, and we're always glad to have our officers there present, but nonetheless, it is a very costly endeavor for the township. We did enter into an agreement with, and we had union conversations, and so everyone was on the same page before this even came to the council. They are well aware that come this September that we would be that we would already have this established. Part of that, those bid specifications are to make sure that our employees have the first dibs on those jobs. We don't want to necessarily disrupt, as some of those crossing guards have been in those crosswalks for a very long time. So part of the bid specifications is to include that and having our familiar faces at those crosswalks.
Thank you very much. That's helpful. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Councilman Brescher?
Council President, I guess I'm a little stymied here. So this is a company, right, that can provide crossing guards at a competitive wage, because it's got to be, might not have to be union, but it would have to be comparable, correct? So the salaries have to be comparable. And these people are able to find crossing guards, yet we can't find crossing guards? I mean, I'm trying to understand, there's a company that can get a job done, and us as a municipality, we can't, so we're going to go to that. You know, like it's like taking DPW and saying, you know, we're going to get rid of all DPW and we're going to subcontract it all out. Or the police department, right? There's Camden. They got rid of their police department. They brought a whole new police department in. That just tells me, you know, that we're not managing properly, because we should be able to get crossing guards, keep them, maintain them.
I don't.
When government can't function within itself and has to subcontract that itself, I think there needs to be a change in government. So I don't feel, you know, positive about outsourcing. This goes back to our sewer and water, all the other issues, you know, that come up. I've been a big advocate of us starting our own paving program and paving, because we said we had a paving department, yet from what I understand, we don't have the equipment to do the paving ourselves. So we outsource it again. So somebody out there is paying the same wages, the same benefits, and making a profit, and we can't do it. So that's a management type thing, and I thought, I mean, I knew we had an old administration, and I got it, but I thought things were going to change with the new one. So, yeah, I'm just not a big fan of outsourcing, any of our public work that I feel should be done in-house, whether it's crossing guards, DPW, fire, police. I believe it all should be done in-house by the township. But that would be it. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments? For myself, are most of the employees, most of the crossing guards, are they considered full-time or part-time?
Part-time.
Part-time. Would that be an incentive for someone to become a crossing guard?
I'm not sure.
So in my viewpoint, it would probably disincentivize someone from actually wanting to be a crossing guard because hours may be limited. Another question I have is, would a company that can service multiple municipalities possibly have more flexibility to cover a station if it were left vacant?
To your point and to Council Brushman's point, we're not looking at the wages, we're looking at the volume and the fact that there are companies out there that have the volume of folks that can take on this.
And that's kind of why I was asking that, because I think that based on the nature of the job description, that like if it's a roads department, right? Those are full-time, they're going to be here, they're going to be working around the clock pretty much. This position particularly is not a full-time position, it's not full-time in regards to the entire year nonetheless. So I think that this is actually one of those opportunities where outsourcing may actually make sense for the township. Any other?
Council President?
Yes, Councilwoman Shep-Freeman.
On the school board and on the safety, we've been working on this for over 4 years now because of the problem of the exorbitant amount of money. And when a police officer stands there and they have to cross children, if you're robbing a bank down the street, they still have to stay there to watch those children. So that's why this has been discussed for the longest. And me, myself, I'm fine glad somebody's taking some action on this because it's been too long now. Sometimes we stay too long on something, you know what I mean, and it kills it off. So I'm just glad that we're finally moving somewhere in a direction of this because it's, it's very nervous nowadays, and you have to have somebody familiar on that corner with the kids because the kids are looking for that person. And some of the spots, if we couldn't get anybody, it would be an empty spot. And some little 8-year-old kid that goes past there on the little spot, I don't know, it just makes me nervous. I always worry about children. It makes me nervous with that. So with that, and with them getting a try, and then if they can't seem to do it, then you change up. But this is a direction that we're forced to go into. It's not that we want to go into it, but we're forced because I even seen another crossing guard retire the other day. Another one retired. So they're retiring, and I know that type of job, sometimes you get 3 hours, but most of the time you get 2 hours. You got to stand in the rain, the sleet, the snow. I mean, that's not the kind of job that brings people to really run to a job. It's really not. So if they can do a great job, so be it.
Can I also ask just a question on procedure? So this would be authorizing the administration to essentially send out a RFP for this type of service, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And in theory, then, once we get the response from the RFP, we would be able to do a cost analysis of what it would cost to subcontract out, for lack of better terminology, the service versus what we are currently paying in-house right now, correct?
Right. Well, our cost analysis based on obviously any benefits that we're paying, all of the administrative costs that are coming to us, including, not limited to, the coverage that's coming from police officers. So we'd be talking huge difference just on the surface.
And then finally, we would need to authorize as the council an agreement if we found a vendor that was able to provide the service.
Correct. So the next step would be to obviously go out to bid, and we have bid specifications we've been working on and have finalized, and we'd be doing that, and then we'd have 60 days to award that contract, and we would put that in front of the council.
And if I understood correctly, the main, I don't want to call it sticky point, but the one item that is currently being worked on is making sure that the current employees essentially have first right to the positions that would be servicing Edison, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I think that would help address some of Councilwoman Ship Freeman's concerns in regards to familiarity within the township, because in theory, many of them will still be the current crossing guards. Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
No, I mean, Council President, my whole point wasn't, that we're not going to take care of these employees later. My point is just strictly that, to me, this is a function of government. In fact, my personal opinion, right, is that we shouldn't hire an attorney's firm. The town should have its own attorney. Because of the size that we are, we could afford to pay that, with the funds that we have. But by us just outsourcing, right, like the previous administration tried to outsource sewer and water. The new administration is going to outsource this. Eventually, all we're going to have is administration, right? That's going to be delegating everything out. And that is my point. My point is that a good administration, right, or a good management company can get over these hurdles and can solve them and can get that work done, without just saying, I give up, let me just go to some outside vendor, we'll pay them and they'll get a profit. I do agree, our police officers should not be there doing the crossing. You know what I mean? They're doing that as like a public emergency because we don't have the staffing. But if you're not getting the people, it's probably pay or benefits. You know what I mean? It's just not comparable, or it's not worth it for you to get out of bed in the morning. But some company out there, that's my point, is some company has found employees that are willing to get out of bed for that amount of money. And what I'm saying is, to the administration, find those people. Somebody else can, private companies can, that's what they should be doing. So that was my point. It's not that, I'm worried that the employees' jobs aren't going to be there, or the children will be unattended or anything like that. That's our job to do. But that was it. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. My only point was that I think just because of, and I know I said it before, so apologize for repeating myself, just that the nature of the job responsibility may not necessarily be best situated for the township oversight. But I would not be able to give a full determination without having the bids received to be able to do that analysis. Thank you. And then 15, from the Township Clerk, A, resolution authorizing a permit fee waiver, and B, resolution appointing members to the Open Space Committee, with the note, again, that Frank Greco is going to be added on, reappointed for the Open Space Committee. Any questions or comments? For myself, I just want to thank the Open Space Committee for all of the hard work and diligence that they do. Like clockwork, every month they meet, they discuss numerous opportunities within the township. They've been advocates in regards to, obviously, open space for probably about almost 3 decades now, if I recall correctly. I look forward to the additions of Ron Loeffler and Sandeep Ramakrishna, who are also serving as on the master plan committee as well. I think they will be valuable assets to the committee, presuming that everything passes. Any other questions or comments?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Patel.
I do want to thank the Open Space Committee for enlightening me and all the things that they have done. And main thing for me, the Edison Greenway, I think that's a gem that has made everyone's lives better. And I think Open Space had really a lot to do with it, and they worked on it for over a decade. And so we should all thank them for it. Thank you.
Thank you. 16, from the council member to the planning board, Councilman Patel.
All right. So the planning board meeting took place on April 17th, and the following resolutions were approved. The amendment to the Beauty Rest Motel redevelopment plan, the P19-2022 RG Edison Urban Renewal, LLG, the preliminary and final site plan approval. Number 3, P18-2022 Lukoil North America, LLC, preliminary and the final site approval plan. Number 4, P5248 RG Edison Urban Renewal, LLG, minor subdivision approval. Number 5, P14-2022 Rivendell Lights, LLC. Number 6, P01-2023 Center Hector, LLC. Number 7, P03-2023 Surhad, LLC. And number 8, P16-2022 D-Rock Development, LLC. These were all approved. There was an extension of the resolution requested for P6-2022 AAPFED property, which was granted. There was a capital improvement presentation, and this was essentially solar panels being installed onto Herbert Hoover and Thomas Jefferson, and this will be done through private company, and it will be at no cost to school. This was just a presentation for information, but I just want to relay the information. In terms of old business, number 1, 29-2022 Demani LLC was carried from February 27th, and the main reason was that we were waiting on 2 approvals from the police and the fire department, which were provided, and it was passed. Number 2, the P5242 Asim Mir 27 Wood Edge Avenue, block number 162, lot 5.B. This was a minor subdivision approval. An existing dwelling was to demolish, and 2 new single-family homes were to be constructed. Part of the request for the planning board was to get a 10-foot wide right-of-way dedication, which would widen the street and make it easier for traffic to flow. And they did dedicate that 10-foot wide, and due to which they lost 400 square feet, and which was a variance that they sought. And the planning board also requested that they install a stop sign to alleviate some of the traffic and have a traffic calming device. And this was approved 4 yes, 3 no's. I voted against it. In terms of new business, 1 was presented, which was P02-2023, 25 Irving Street. There was not enough preparation done, so it was going to be carried to May 15th, no new notice. And the last case, P17-2022, CRP/SG Edison Industrial Owners, that also is going to be carried to May 15th. And the next meeting is May 15th for the planning board. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 17, unfinished business. Ordinances for further consideration, public hearing, and final adoption. O2175-2023, an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a traffic control signal at the intersection of Woodbridge Avenue and May Street in the Township of Edison, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey. 18, discussion items. Starting from my left, Councilwoman Ship Freeman.
First of all, Friday night was a great night. We had the DPW against the Filipino basketball. I guess they'll call them All-Stars. And I'll probably volunteer to teach, to coach the DPW next year, to get them more involved in it. No, but it was not. It was a very nice evening. We had a great time there. It was very, very good and also. And then I was talking about the, since they were talking about I wasn't going to bring it up, but since they were talking about my leadership on the council in 2020, we were down 50 police officers. We had a brand-new water department to put together, like a whole lot of things during the COVID and holding back. And during my whole leadership, if you can check, you can see the amount of women and minorities were put on when I was, in charge of public safety. You can see all that, and you can see from right now, people wouldn't even have the diverse police force that they have now, but wasn't under Mayor Tom Linke and my direction. And I think that was a good thing we did. And as people talk about the amount of money that they raised up, up to 35,000, like $3,000 a month. But I know about those things because I happened to be the teacher at the time that Mayor Kane was in, and he finally gave us a decent salary. But when he gave us a decent salary, everybody that came after me almost caught up to me in a few seconds because that's how unions work. That's how you move forward. But I think it's a plus thing that we move forward and we do more things together collectively. And we can't go back to yesteryear, but I like the fact that I made sure that our crime was limited that we had in Edison because we had a lot of stuff going on at that time. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Schiff Freeman. Councilman Patel?
None, sir.
Council Vice President Harris?
Yes. First of all, seeing the presence of some of our wonderful Muslim community, I was remiss during Points of Light to not have mentioned that I wanted to wish you all a blessed Eid Mubarak. So thank you for being here, and I'm sorry about that oversight. One thing I wanted to bring up, and I've been seeing this from a number of residents, is whatever happened to the poll that was done from municipal broadband to the residents and in the study that was done. It just seems like there has been nothing published about that, and that was quite a while ago, and I wonder if we can get an update on the status of that. Thank you.
Sonia, is there a update on that? Or can you provide in a follow-up?
I can follow up.
Thank you.
Please, because it's something that's been out there and people keep asking about, so I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
You, Council Vice President.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilman Bersher?
Yes. Can I get a list of who Vision Media sends their flyers, the flyers out to? I have yet to see one. A resident put a request in for a list of everybody that got it. I was told like they need 30 days. I mean, if they've been sending them out for a year to everybody, residents should be able to get an Oprah request in whatever the regular time is. There should be no extension needed. So I'm requesting it now. Question. I've noticed when we build new homes here in Edison, and maybe one of the engineers might be able to help, I don't know. They take all the dirt out for the foundation, stack it up on the lawn, build the house, and then crown over the property with the dirt they dug out of the hole. Now, my question is that in a couple locations, you have an existing home and it's at this level. They build the two new homes here, and then this guy lives in the swimming pool, right? And then they come to council chamber and they complain. I thought we corrected that, but I have someone that just questioned me because there was a house next to him and it's crowned. It's probably 18 inches higher than his property, and he suspects that he'll have flooding in the future. So is there a certain amount that you could raise your property? Do we have an ordinance for that?
I can follow up with you with regard to that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to, get whatever information I can on that, because somehow we have to set some kind of parameters, I think, so this doesn't happen over and over again.
Sure.
Thank you. That's it, Council President.
Council
Thank you.
President, one last thing.
Yes.
Can I have
Councilwoman
a
Schiff
list
Freeman.
of the streets that are being paved?
Are you talking about the 2022 paving list?
It wasn't
Like
on
the ones that are
It
currently
wasn't on
being?
2022. I'm talking about this year because there weren't any streets paved last year. So
So-
I'm looking for the list for this year.
So the current streets we're paving are on the 2022 list, and I can provide that to you. The 2023, that's incumbent on the municipal budget being adopted.
All right, so the 2022 list you're going to give me, you're doing it this year.
Which is currently being worked on, right? It did start last year. There was a lot of concrete work being done. We needed to make sure all the ADA compliance issues were dealt with first before we started paving. Of course, then there's the asphalt plants that opened mid-March. So once they did, we were going ahead and making sure we were getting to our list, but I can certainly provide that to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for myself, I do not have any discussion items. Moving on, we are entering into the regular session. 19, approval of minutes. Can I get a motion?
Approve?
Second.
Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. 20, Council President remarks. I've done a lot of speaking already with the resolution, so I'm going to skip over that. I appreciate your understanding. 21, approval of volunteer firefighters. We have for the Oak Tree Volunteer Fire Company, Austin T. Cravo, and from the Raritan Company number 1, Christopher J. Mavrith. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Unfinished business. Madam Clerk, can you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a traffic control signal at the intersection of Woodbridge Avenue, County Road 514, and May Street in the Township of Edison, County, Middlesex.
At this time, I'd like to open up to the public for any comments or questions. Yes.
Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson. I'm just curious why we need to pass this. I live near the area and I have seen massive construction updates in the area, so I was just wondering why.
My understanding, and I can be corrected if I'm mistaken, the county has already done the light improvements. We have to authorize by ordinance the approval that we accept that the work has been completed. So this is more of a formality thing.
That's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions or comments in regards to the ordinance only? Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close public portion?
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the public portion is closed. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve, this one. Motion to approve. Yeah.
Sorry.
Second.
So a motion by Councilman Patel, seconded by Council Vice President Harris. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. 23, public comment on the resolutions. At this time, we'll open up for public comment on the resolutions only. Yeah.
Lois Wolke, Peak Road, Edison. I have a couple of comments on Resolution 196 about our legal fees. Our legal fees, from what I remember, every year have been higher than expected. We were told COVID this year, I don't know what the reason was in previous years, but they always seem to be going up. And I'm not going to even harp on that because we've never gotten a real breakdown of the bills. I'm just hoping whoever oversees the bills in the administration are doing their due diligence. But one thing has come to my attention as I watch the meetings. In previous years, we've had a township attorney, and that township attorney basically was here at every meeting, other than a conflict, illness, vacation. Now we seem to have a revolving door of attorneys. And what concerns me is lack of communication, because I remember one incident where information wasn't relayed. I'm just wondering, why we have different attorneys, and also, are all the attorneys paid the same hourly wage?
Before I allow him to address, just because of the time constraint, do you have any other questions that you would like to mention first, and then we can
Nope, that's it.
to our attorney if you'd like?
Sure, I'll do my best. Well, first off, the Township of Edison has seen fit to hire a law firm. There is a director of law, same as Lou Renone, but one attorney alone cannot service the needs of the township. We are a law firm. We are in constant communication, whether it be within the firm or with the administration on all of the issues. And we feel that is the best way to service the Township of Edison, and the administration and by and large the council have agreed to that arrangement with the firm. That was known when we took this position. As far as the rate, it's the same rate. It's the hourly rate is the same whether it's myself, Mr. Renone, or anyone from the firm. We all work at the same rate, regardless of the experience we have. In the case of Mr. Renone, he's been an attorney for almost 40 years. He gets the same rate as an attorney who's in his first year. And that rate is well below market rate. An attorney of Mr. Renone's experience would receive a multiplier of 3 or 4 times what the Township of Edison pays. But we're happy to do the work, and we enjoy what we do. We're happy to service all the needs that Edison has to offer, all the needs that Edison has. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Okay, I just forgot to ask what that rate was.
I believe the rate currently is $195 per hour.
I think you may be cheating yourself if I may interrupt you. I believe it's 175.
$175 an hour. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Yes.
Bruce Diamond, Calvert Avenue West. First one is resolution 236. If you look at that committee, the core of people there have probably been there 20 years. It's an awfully strong, well-run committee. And to show the value of it, you have, even before Sandeep and Ron joining us, you have 2 people on the master plan. You usually have people from the master plan on the from the open space committee, and it's a testament to the quality of people we have in the group. And I'm glad you got Frankie in there. That's nice. As to 205, and I'm not commenting on salaries or anything else. I just remember when I started off in the business world, there was something called a hidden paycheck. You had a pension, perhaps, you had health insurance. There's a substantial value to that. And I'm curious, do we educate our employees so they understand? And while I do understand, while someone who's having trouble paying their rent or putting food on their table, what the hell does it mean they're getting a pension in 40 years? It's not very important when they need to eat or put a roof over their head now. But there's a substantial hidden paycheck. And I think that should be announced to the employees. They should realize what they're getting. It's certainly, for a clerical person, it's not the same as a policeman or fireman would get, but it is a substantial dollar amount for all these people, even at the lowest paid level, if they're getting a pension. And I think that should be emphasized so it's not taken for granted. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a question to our BA. Are there any services like that currently offered by the township to employees?
Not only are you talking about pension, you're talking about health benefits. So there is a substantial package and cost to the township. So I can give you an instance where someone making.
I'm not worried. I'm
Oh.
not referencing in regards to the cost, just the employees' awareness of options available to them, like being aware that there's a pension plan, the insurance, and all that stuff.
Absolutely, because that's inclusive of, obviously, our negotiations are based on everything, not just a wage discussion, so.
Thank you.
And Council President?
Yes,
the state
Councilwoman.
the state has interfered in a lot of that, so with money, I don't know if it happens different with we're self-insured, but with absentee days and all that, it's a lot now. It's a whole lot of stuff that maybe people need to sit down and have like meetings like this and kind of gather up and understand their direction and how the price cost over here and all that, because people just assume people know those things, but they don't. And you telling me I'm getting a pension 40 years, and I don't even know if I'll be alive in 40 years because I'm trying to survive and eat for the day. But I just think those kind of meetings are very, very important because I had those kind of meetings with my people. I think you should have them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Sam Khan, 7 Lambert Avenue, Edison, New Jersey, and would like to talk about the resolution R23904-2023, the mayor's appointment for a municipal judge, Asma Warsi. I just came here to appreciate the efforts of Mayor Sam Joshi. This not only bring the communities together, since we know that Edison is a very diverse community, and we all the council people here, and you've been know I'm the chairman of the American Muslim Council. We've been working more than a decade to bring people of different faith, culture on one platform. I'm the organizer of the largest interfaith dinner in the tri-state area. Our efforts to bring the people on one platform and send the message across that not even in Edison, but also we are the people of God, and we want to live together side by side with peace and harmony. And I would like to appreciate this Mayor's Sam Joshi's effort to bring this, that will send a very positive message within our community, that the acceptance of especially the Muslim community in the township and part of the community. And thank you very much. And this is, I think, a good step towards growing the community into a bigger, larger one community, Edison. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments on the resolutions? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close public portion?
Second?
Motion by Councilwoman, Council Vice President, I'll get it one day. Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The public portion is closed. Yep. At this time, we'll act on the agenda. Do any council members have any items they would like to pull for a separate vote, starting from my right?
Don't take this personal, because Council Vice President was here, and I didn't pull one thing. But today's a new day.
I wondered what they did with the real Rich Brescher. And
I'm looking at 196, the lawyer, 197, Sage, 199, okay, 199, I have to abstain. 205, AFSME, 212, engineering, 225, engineering, 226, the crossing guards, and 237, vision media.
So just to review, that's R196, R197, R199, R205, R212, R225, R226, and R227.
Correct.
Council President, if you just want to note Council Brescher's abstention on that vote, you can add it to the consent agenda and just note the abstention if you'd like to. You could do that.
Okay, that would be 199. I just have to abstain for that.
Okay, but that would be specifically for 199.
Correct. But you could do it as part of the consent and then just note the abstention.
Okay.
Yes, you can do that. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine. Yes, yes.
All right. Council Vice President Harris, anything for a separate vote?
none, sir.
Councilman Patel?
None, sir.
Councilwoman Schiff Freeman? All right, so the consent agenda, sorry, I gotta rework this a little bit. The consent agenda will be resolutions 192 through 195, 198 through 204, 206 through 211, 213 through 224, and 228 through 240. That's with 196, 197, 205, 212, 225, 226, and 227 being pulled for a separate vote.
237 you have on there, too?
237,
You
not
had 237.
Oh, 237, my apologies.
237.
237.
Correct.
The 227 is part of the consent. Yeah. We've got it. Yeah, we're ready. Yeah.
So we'll revise what I just said to include 227 through 236 and then 238 through 240.
Correct.
I think I got that all. All right. With that, can I get a motion to approve? Do you need any extra time? Are you good? All right. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patel, seconded by Council Vice President Harris. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes, and that's just, again, noting that on 199, Councilman Brescher abstained. Councilman Brescher, how would you like to deal the other resolutions?
The other ones, I mean, the other ones are voting no. As far as I'm concerned, you can put them together, unless somebody else wants to vote yes on some and no on some of these, right? Then you'd have to break it up. But for myself, personally, I'm just going to vote no on these.
You can move them as a block if you'd like. Someone could certainly object to that. So you have moved them as a block, is that correct,
Yeah,
Councilman Brescher?
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Second?
Just give me 1 second, please. All right. So it'd be 196, 187, 205, 212, 225, 226, and 237 as a block. Any additional comments you would like to make?
No, I made them earlier. Thank you.
Any other comments from council members in regards?
Are we voting for each one of these separately?
It's going to be as a block.
He's moved them as a
Unless
block.
you want something specifically separate.
196, 197.
We voting on these as a block?
If you would like to have it separated out.
Right, if there's any that you're going to vote no on and yes on some of the others, you should separate them. But if you're just going to vote, yes on all of them or no on all of them, then you can leave them together as a block.
I wanted, well, how about we do it like this, 196, 197, 205. Wait a minute, 237.
Okay.
Okay, so I believe there's a new motion on the floor, Councilman.
Yes, yes, it would be. Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm sorry. Take 205 out of there, take 205 out of there, 196, 197, and 237. 196, 197, and 237. Put those three together. Those
So it
three
would be
together. Sorry.
two separate blocks, and I'll get 196 in regards to the attorney, 197 in regards to the architectural, 237 in regards to the media marketing. That will be one block. The second block will be 205, which is the union contract, 212, which is the HVAC engineering, 225, which is the west side pump station, and 226, the crossing guards.
Correct.
Council President, we need a motion. That's the first block.
In regards to the first block, R196, R197, R237, can I get a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
So it's motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
No.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Motion passes. For the second block, 205, 212, 225, and 226, can I get a motion? Well, actually, first, I asked about comments and such already.
Yes.
So can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patel, second by Council Vice President Harris. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher?
No.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Patel?
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman?
Is this the block with 226? Because y'all got so much going on.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, all right,
25.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Yes.
Yes.
So you said yes?
She did.
Okay. Council President Pointer?
Yes. All right. Motion passes. At this time, we'll open up for oral petitions and remarks, starting from the list. Maria Orchid.
Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson.
You're recognized.
Thank you. First, we'd like to thank everyone who attended Earth Day. We did have a turnout. I guess everybody was waiting to see if it was going to rain. Thank you for everyone who donated. Please check beautifuledison.com or etec@edisonnj.gov for future volunteer opportunities. Would like to know, when is the new Dwyer Community Gardens going to open? I did hear sometime next month, but we're looking for a definitive date so we can plan the opening ceremonies. Tonight was the welcome back at the Clara Barton Library Neighborhood Open House from 6:30 to 8:30. Can't be in two places at the same time. If I could have an update on the crosswalk situation with all the schools. Please check on your seniors and disabled residents. How's the senior center bathroom update? And the seniors are in need of more services. Also, the blinking stop sign on the Old Post Road and the Boulevard of Eagles, like an update. Clara Barton cleanup will be scheduled on May 20th. Looking for volunteers for the cleanup of the Clara Barton area. The mayor's bike tour on May 21st. I'm looking for a strong presentation to show that more bike lanes are needed throughout Edison. And last, we're looking for the update on the Silver Lake and Glendale properties. Thank you.
To our business administrator, is there a timeline as to when the Dwyer Park Community Garden will be opening?
Sure, we have a DPW director here.
Yes.
I'm hopeful within the next 30 days. Fencing is done, water lines being run, paving is occurring tomorrow, and we're in the process of building beds. So hopefully within the next 30 days.
Thank you. In regards to the blinking light situation at Old Post, I think I had provided an update in email that it's figured to be around the summertime. They're currently working out some of the logistics with that. And the crosswalk situation with the schools, I don't have my notes. That was something that we had talked about at the Education Committee. I don't have the notes in front of me, though. I apologize. Is there any other updates in regards to the senior center bathroom?
At the last council meeting, as you all saw, that the contract was, the finalization of the contract was done. So all of the repairs and the work's been completed at the bathrooms.
So everything's up and operational?
Correct.
Okay. And then to our attorney, is there anything you can provide in regards to Glendale and Silver Lake?
Not at this time, but I'll certainly I can provide council with an update for our next meeting.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you. We are off the list. Any? Yes.
Bruce Diamond Calvert. The work on the swale at Abbott and Calvert. Did anyone ever find the work the previous engineer allegedly had done and it was just waiting to go out to bid?
Council President, if I may.
Yes. Senator.
So that is a proposal that we have that would be inclusive of the 2023 budget being adopted. So our engineers have put something together. We just need to have a budget in place.
So that means as soon as you submit the budget and it's passed, there will be funds to send people out and dig dirt and create
Yes.
a solution, okay? And I'm curious, I got confused here on the item 225, resolution 225. How did the vote go on that? That's the $1 million for the poop pump.
I believe it was 4-1.
Who was the no? Oh, weren't you the guy who didn't want Suez here? Suez would have paid for this. You can't have it both ways, dude. You can't vote no on big money to fix the water system so you can say you're not wasting money when you're running for re-election, and then you voted against Suez. It's not fair to have it both ways.
Okay, I'll just to clear that up for you.
If I can, just out of courtesy, since it's
you're
speaking
correct.
time.
That's it. It's a big it because it's a bunch of baloney. Everyone gets ready for elections voting against budgets and everything else, but you all vote yes for every goddamn spending thing.
Can I address it? Okay. Mr. Diamond, I'd like to just tell you that irregardless, right, I believe that I am consistent. So I have consistently said that paying 20% for an engineering firm to design and watch over it is too much money. I went to Woodbridge and they were paying less. I said this over and over and over again. Today, you're looking at $900 and something thousand. I asked how much it cost. They said $5 million. That's 20% again. But what I didn't do was I did not turn this council chamber into a circus about it because people said that I turned it into a circus. And the only reason why I do this is so that what happens is I don't have the residents come up here confused and thinking I'm doing this because I'm running for office, when all that I'm doing is being consistent where I've always been on us spending money.
And why is it that we are such suckers to pay 20% instead of what, 10?
15? You know, and when you talk about 5%, right, what is 5%? But 5% on millions and millions and millions of dollars actually
Not
does add
arguing
up.
with you about the value of the savings. Why are we so naive in Edison that we're willing to overpay on every contract?
I cannot tell you what the motivation is for my council colleagues for the reason why they vote that way. I can only tell you why I vote that way. My council colleagues and the administration, as far as I'm concerned, should put it out to bid and should have architects bidding on some of this because, as everybody knows, we hire engineering firms, right? And they're doing a pump station. Architects do pump stations. They also do schools. The schools hire an architect. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to open request how much the schools pay for the professional services on a percentage basis. And at my next meeting, I'm going to come and I'll explain it.
Please do.
I will.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Yes.
Lois Tara, 52 Reeder Road, Edison.
Yes,
the
you're
floor.
recognized. Yep.
I'm here to publicly thank, on behalf of the Cultural Arts Commission, which I'm the vice chair, and Tony Macero, the great job that Ray and his Department of Public Works people are doing on the Ferrante property. They are doing it with such alacrity that it blinds the mind to think that they can get so much done so quickly, and they're doing a fantastic job. Also, they're working on the gallery downstairs, which is going to be available in a month. Fantastic, and thank you, gentlemen, very, very much.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, sir.
Sam Lamb, 20 Parch Place. I have two questions. One is the mayor authorized to enter into discussions with outside firms or organizations without first clearing it with the council?
Yeah, if it's okay, just to get all the questions first so that we don't take up time in the response aspect.
We'll leave it at one. I'll ask the next one at another meeting.
If I can to our attorney.
Sure, absolutely. The mayor's perfectly authorized to enter into any negotiations with any entity if he thinks it's in the best interest of the township. He can't formalize or execute any contracts without the approval of the council, but he can certainly have preliminary conversations to iron out any details. I mean, that's the best I can do if I answer a hypothetical.
So after,
I believe you said you answered all your questions, correct?
Well, this is
The
just a
council president said this wasn't a back and forth.
oh,
It's okay, I'll allow it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
for the
All right,
follow-up.
that's fine, as long as the council president approves it. Thank
so
you.
after that conversation that the mayor would, I'm asking regarding the Suez issue, because at the time, it seemed like the council wasn't fully aware of what the extent of the discussion that the mayor was having. And I was just wondering if the council was considering or had considered asking the mayor to at least just mention to them what he was planning on doing before going into negotiations, or if it's remaining, the council plans to have it remain the way you just described it.
You're assuming facts that I don't know to be true. I can't speak to any negotiations with Suez.
All right,
Then
I
again-
mean, fine.
Okay.
Very well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other first-time speakers? Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm fairly a new resident of Edison.
Not to interrupt, and I apologize. From a formality standpoint, we generally ask name and address. I know that I
I'm
hadn't
sorry
asked
for that. My name is Sher Khan, and I'm at 3841 Park Avenue, Edison,
Thank you for
New
understanding.
Jersey. You are very welcome. And as I said, I am a fairly new resident of Edison. In Edison for the last 5 years, 4 years renting a property, and now I own a property. And I'm a professional engineer by my discipline, but it's a small question, but it makes a good effect on the town. So in some of the town, I see that the garbage and the recycle are out on the same day. So in Edison, I see garbage collections once a week, once a week, and the recycle twice. I mean, like every bi-weekly. So is there any reason for cost saving or any study we did before by the council or the township? And why the garbage and recycle is not at the same day and both on once a week? So I have a big family, 7 family members, and the 8th one is the Amazon. So a lot of online orders and a lot of recycles I used to have, and I want to keep the city clean, and I want to be a responsible resident of Edison. So I would suggest if recycle is also scheduled for every week instead of bi-weekly. Thank you.
Thank you. If I can ask our DPW director if there's, I guess, any backing as to why they can't be done or why it's decided not to be done simultaneously?
He's in the same section as I'm in, and we have private garbage. Park Avenue has private garbage. So when he's seeing the cans, when he's seeing the garbage can and the recycling can, do you have private garbage, sir? No. The town picks it up? Yeah, picks up by the town. Okay. Council President, if I may, perhaps after this meeting, let me talk to the individual and try to gather some more facts, and I'll try to get some answers for him.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Any other first-time speakers? Yes.
My name is Cheryl Goins. I'm at 100 Mitch Snyder Drive.
Thank you.
Blessings to you all, council members. I'm here to follow up on what's going on, Council President, with the investigation health-wise with 100 Mitch Snyder Drive. That's a Mandela Crossing.
Yeah. Okay, that's your question, right?
Yeah.
I thought so. Okay, just to let you know, the administration got me a report on the fire department. There was a gas leak that happened there, but really what we were following up on was the mold, I guess, that was said that was there. So what I did do was I went to my colleague, Councilwoman Joy Shipp, and she told me that she put a request into the health department, okay, for them to look into this. Now, unfortunately, that was with the prior administration, I believe. And that employee, I think, retired. So I asked the BA if she could now look into this. She's going to see if we have any records that they did any kind of, they looked at it at all. If not, we've requested if they could have somebody take a look. Sonia, I think you were saying it might not be health, it might be another department or something.
It may be health. So what I've done is circulated with a couple of departments this afternoon. So they're pretty responsive, so I assume I'll get something tomorrow that I could provide to you, Councilman Brescher or Councilwoman Shipp Freeman. And then if you could, or if you'd like my information, I can speak to the resident as well.
Yeah, if we can get your information so we can follow up with you on this.
Yes, because I've brought, it's not even just mold, but it's toxins of PM 2.5 and PM 10, which are known to cause heart attacks. And several people have had heart attacks in that apartment complex. 5 have died mysteriously in their apartment.
But I know mold is a very, it's a serious thing.
Yeah.
But our health department would be the one that would be able to, me looking at it, right? I could tell you it's mold, but technically I'm not an expert. I didn't do a test on it. And for them to do something about it, they'd actually have to do something to verify that it actually is.
Even also, the management needs to be changed. They only come 2 days a week. This is why a gas leak happened. They're poorly managed.
Who runs this? Is this?
Is it
Yes.
private and public?
It's I believe it's private public. It's Mandolin.
Yeah, Mission First Housing
Mission First,
Group,
right.
AKA Columbus Property
We always have
Management.
problem, we always have problem with private and public. We have problems with that because it's harder for us because we're not technically in charge of the place. So if, you know what I mean, like we could rein them in had it been like federal or sanctioned by the Edison Council. But when private comes in and they mix with public, private just wants their money. That's all. That's what happens that way. So I frown upon that, but hey, who am I?
It's appreciated. Thank you all.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other first-time speakers? Any second-time speakers? Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close?
Second.
Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
We out.
Aye.
Aye.
This meeting stands adjourned.
Cheryl, I was wrong. I was